Well,
I'll record this, shall I, on this side, just so you've got it. Because then if you've got one camera angle, if you want to cut closer up to a full screen when it's animated, the video that I'll save on this will have all the animations on it and everything.
yeah, sure.
Yeah? Cool. We rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can do this without making it really confusing. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the War Room. This is a new concept. It's called The Aftermath. So I've had a few requests of doing like post-fight stuff. Now I've got this little tablet, this toy. I'm going to start doing it because there's always some really fun things to talk back upon. And the other thing as well is obviously when I'm breaking down a fight, I'm pointing out certain things, and then when they happen in the fights, it's interesting to not only see what they do, but then the developments, the things that I didn't expect, because there are always things that I don't expect to happen. And that's one of the things I love about MMA. Okay, let's get straight into this fight. So Overeem just played the veteran game in this one. He really did. I mean, he let Sakai work. There were times in this where it very much looked like a guy helping a teammate prepare for a fight. There were points where Overeem just looked like he was cruising and he was like hanging out, looking at the clock. Okay, right. One thing that we talked about, and this is something that's consistent that Overeem's done in a lot of his fights, is he gets attacked, he backs up, he pulls up to the fence, and then he allows his opponent to work. We saw this against JDS, we saw this against Rosenstrike, and it's intentional. The reason he's doing it is because he knows that these heavyweights gas tanks is finite. He knows that if he can cruise at 60% for the first couple of rounds, he automatically goes into the third against most of these guys with an advantage of conditioning. So this is Sakai attacking, but just watch this exchange here. So this is what I expected. Sakai comes crashing forward, Overeem backs up. He gives that impression that he's under pressure, that he's hurting, but then he throws a couple of things back. Little knees to the body. This is always an investment for the future. It's Teddy Atlas would say it's water in the basement. Look at that knee, bang. Like, he knows when to land those short shots just to slow the fight down and have an impact that's going to pay dividends later on. But watch how he's cruising here. He's not bothered. He's not fighting head position. Like, he's messing with his feet. This is a guy that's helping a teammate prepare for a fight. This is a guy this is the fresh man in. This is a guy that's come in just to kind of push you and force your cardio to improve. Overeem is being a veteran here. Like, and you can tell because he's even aware when Sakai's grabbing the top of the fence. This is something that Sakai's done throughout his career. He may have lost the Blagoy-Ivanov fight if he'd have not grabbed the fence in that third round. But like, Overeem is checking this out. He's like, oh look, he's holding the fence. Then he has a look over at the referee. But just in the meantime, while this is all happening, just look at this arm. Like, he's just hanging out. He's doing nothing offensive with this arm. You can see how little concern he is in this position. He knows he's in this fight for 2 rounds to make Sakai work. So all of this jostling and messing with his head and messing with his grip, it's okay, there we go. It's Overeem just being a veteran. It's Overeem knowing that he's not in a rush. I mean, these are heavyweight fights. These fights can end in a second. As long as Overeem gets a dramatic finish, that's what the fans will remember. They won't remember these first couple of rounds of him cruising and letting Sakai work. Watch this. We talked about this in the War Room. Beautiful block on the inside there. Remember, this is what Sakai knocked Marcin Tybura out with. Hand comes up to block it. Beautiful. Oh, what did I do then? Okay, there's the knee. Watch this. Bang. We spoke about this with the Thai boxing matches. Look how he pulls that arm close to his midsection. Look at that. That arm is pulled close to his midsection. That shows that was an impactful shot. I don't know how I'm going to do this now. What's going on here? Oh, I can't get out of this. I can't. I was going to show you a different clip, but I can't. Anyway, pulls the arm back. So you can see these shots have already have an impact. But Overeem's noticing this as well. He's also not really that bothered about letting these rounds kind of slip away from him a little bit. He's keeping pressure on. The most important thing for him is to make sure that Sakai is constantly working, constantly moving. There's no real reason for him to be pushing and winning all of these rounds because he's then battling with Sakai, who's another big heavyweight puncher. And we know that Reem can get hurt. We know that sometimes he takes a couple of shots, he loses those rounds big. He might as well cruise this round and lose it 10-9 instead of getting dropped and losing it 10-8 and having to claw his way back into the fight. This is a far more strategic approach. Now, we talked about low kicks as well, and Overeem is an excellent counter of low kicks. Oftentimes he'll let people throw kicks like we saw in the Mark Hunt fight, and that's what he does here. Sakai jogs around. Sakai throws a low kick and Overeem turns his knee into it, much like he does on the Mark Hunt one, where he damages Mark Hunt's shin. But watch how clean this overhand is. Bang, right on his chin. That is a further discouragement for Sakai throwing low kicks, which Overeem doesn't really want to be dealing with all the way through the fight. He's cutting off avenues for Sakai. Do you want to be in the clinch with him? Not really, because I keep getting kneed in the body. Do I keep wanting to charge him against the fence? No, because he's not really doing anything. He just slowly closes doors for these guys, which is why it feels like a veteran performance to me. If we skip through to the start of the second round, okay, it continues into the second round, and what you see from Overeem is he just slowly picks up his, look at that, beautiful. What a shot. I mean, a great punch taken by Sakai there. You can't take too many of those, though. So what we see at the start of the second round is much of the same. Overeem pressures immediately, but he's managing the distance between them. I was trying to play about with this yesterday to try and show you how this space is managed. I'm going to see if this works now. Just bear with me. I had a coach that used to like this training method where we would have a rope tied around our waist, so I couldn't get too far away from him. I always had to stay in range. But then the alternative to that was to have a rope between us with a piece of pipe between it, so we couldn't get too close. And that taught me to manage range. So every time he moves forward, I move away. Every time he moves away, I move forward. I manage that space between. them. So like you can see, like as Overeem moves away, as Overeem moves forward, he's countering, filling the space that Sakai's leaving behind. Look at that, beautiful work. He's always just outside of Sakai's range, whether Sakai's moving forward or back. It's, what was it? Start of Enter the Dragon. When my opponent expands, I contract. It's exactly what Overeem's doing. At some points, he's expanding to fill the space that Sakai's leaving behind, and other times Sakai's filling that space, so Overeem's contracting to create it. There's always a sense for Sakai, though, that something's happening. This is where Overeem is constantly in control of the fight. Where's the next shot that we're going to get to? Okay, we're back to range management again here. It's just, it's calm, it's steady. It's like, just watch Sakai. Sakai's being forced to work. If he decides to move forward, he never quite gets to Overeem. Overeem's out the way. But then when Sakai starts to back up, Overeem then starts to fill that space in front of him. Look, how frustrating is this for Sakai? Doesn't know when to throw, doesn't know which Overeem he's fighting. He doesn't know whether he's being aggressive, whether he's ready to counter. Doesn't know whether he's southpaw or orthodox. Doesn't know whether to throw a low kick because that's going to get countered. Doesn't know whether to wade into range because he doesn't know where the targets are to land. And Overeem, again, working to the body. Bang. I said in the war room before, they're going to be segues into the clinch for Overeem. That's exactly what he's doing here. He started doing this little wiggle of the fingers as well. I don't know what that's about, but you've noticed this as the fight was going on as well. He's casting spells or something. Big hook to the body. Bang, and then he's in the clinch again. So money in the bank for the later rounds, keep him working the body, but then at the same time, beautiful work in the clinch, head position, forcing Sakai to work, tying him up, nice wrist control again, inside bicep control, little knee to the midsection. Look at that. Same thing we spoke about in the war room. He's controlling the wrist, he moves the wrist out of the way to create the avenue for his attack. And then we're back out into space. And Overeem's, again, he's testing him. He's not putting his foot right on the gas because he doesn't need to. He needs to keep steady pressure in third gear to force Sakai to keep up with him. This is the thing is, the more fights you've had, the more experience you have, the more you know where to rest and how to rest. Overeem's watching this whole exchange here. He's completely unfazed and unhurt by all of that. But Sakai has now dumped a whole bunch of energy. The other thing that occurred to me the other day when I was talking to George St. Pierre, we were talking about the armbar in the first round that he almost finished me with. And he said that he had an adrenaline dump after that, which then affected his conditioning, his heart rate. We also saw the same thing with Anderson Silva against Michael Bisping. When he thought the fight was over, he went off celebrating, and then he had to come back and do 2 more rounds. That adrenaline dump, sometimes we see it when fighters are so close to finishing a fight. Angela Hill, Yan Xiaonan, in a triangle, so close to finishing the fight, you get that adrenaline dump. It's there, I'm going to get it. And then the round ends, or they survive, or whatever it is. That adrenaline dump has still had a taxation on your cardiovascular system. So every time Sakai goes into the clinch and he's hammering Overeem, what he's seeing is Overeem cowering and breaking up against the fence until he's landed 5, 6, 10 shots, and then he realizes nothing's really getting through, and then he starts to back up. And we see this constantly in Overeem's fights. He knows when to apply pressure and when to not. This, again, it's all making Sakai work. It's making Sakai work. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit so we can kind of skip through it. Like, again, veteran moves. Oh, I think that sounds like Amazon's going to deliver me something. Okay, let's get through to the next round. So where are we? Start the 3rd round. Okay. Start the 3rd round. So now I think we've got 2 rounds in the bank for Overeem. Not necessarily won the rounds because we don't know what the judges are seeing, but certainly controlled the rounds. Controlled the rounds to the point where he's managed to sap some of the energy out of Sakai. He's managed to slow him down. He's managed to discourage him. So like what we're seeing, and what we see at the start of this 3rd round as well, which I'll be honest, it started to annoy me a little bit, was all of the tweets popping up of everyone going, oh, Sakai, 2 rounds to 0, etc., etc. Like, yeah, okay, but you're missing the bigger picture. Overeem's controlling this fight. Overeem is running the show here. So as the 3rd round starts, Overeem starts to pressure a little bit more. Watch this overhand again, low kick overhand, bang low kick, bang overhand, picking at him, a little bit more pressure this time. Now he's starting to take a few more risks, but still not much. We get the betting line shifting. Sakai starts to slip on the betting lines as well, which I thought was interesting. Lots of people, though, wrong cursor. Lots of people talking about the scoring. Another round, Sakai. He needs to pick up his volume. Yes, he does. But at the same time, this is conscious. This is not Overeem getting shut down. This is Overeem managing his energy systems. Look how short that flurry was now from Sakai. The first 2 rounds, Sakai's in range and he's working. But watch how quickly he's discouraged here. Backs up, bang, bang, bang. No. You can see his energy's going. You can see his enthusiasm's dropping off. And Overeem gets back to work again. What's the next bit we're going to look at here? 318. It's a bit of a challenge because there's loads of bits to talk about in this fight. It wasn't a quick finish, which is much easier to break down. So I've got loads of little talking points, and I don't want to miss anything important. Okay, where are we? Okay, this is the next one. So but keep in mind that previous attack that we've just seen from Sakai, how slow it was, how low energy it was, how quickly he broke the clinch. Watch this one again here. We're going to see the same thing here. So Reem's going to back up. Reem's going to allow Sakai to come to him. And then we're going to see a very laboured attack from Sakai. Back up. Overeem even drops his hands to keep Sakai moving forward. Little flurry. Everything's landing on the hands. Let's just watch this slow-mo. Just watch Overeem's eyes. Watch his face here. Slow-mo. Overeem's watching. He's leaning up against the fence. He's covering. Covered. Hit him on his forearms. Overeem is watching him through his guard, and Sakai is now trying to find ways through his guard, but Overeem's doing nothing but defending. He doesn't have to worry about anything else other than making sure he's covered from these shots. And you can see the longer this combination goes, the more tired Sakai gets. So the less impact these shots have got in anyway. It even starts to look like he's trying to kind of push him through his guard. But think if you're Overeem here. Think how encouraged you are now, because you can feel this guy's fading. Like, you're literally halfway through the fight at this point. Not quite. 20 seconds, you'll be halfway through this fight. Overeem's already got this fight under control. He's landed the more devastating shots into the midsection. Sakai started to slow down, and Overeem's figuring out his game. And the more discouraged Sakai gets, the less he throws. It's more single shots. It's more, I don't really want to try this. I don't really want to do this because I know Overeem's got something coming back. Okay, and then we have a shift in approach from Overeem. And this again is Overeem. This is Overeem's adaptability. This is Overeem, training with Curtis Blades, working his wrestling. I mean, as DC was pointing out on the broadcast, it may not have been the most perfect of takedowns, but it was. It still did the job. So look, Overeem's he's just cruising here, but he can feel now Sakai's leaning into him. Easy body lock there. Nice trip, takes him down. I just want to talk through why this works. So Overeem's got this body lock here. Watch how he drops this elbow. This elbow is dropping down towards the ground, and he's also blocking this foot here. Look at that. You see how his foot hooks around Sakai's leg? So he's dropping this down here to block the hip, and he's blocking this leg here with his own. And then he's using his body weight, dragging Sakai to the floor. And Sakai does a good job to try and get in top position. I mean, he's a brown belt. He's got decent ground game. Overeem manages to get on top. And then immediately the ground and pound starts. What I will say about this third round ground and pound is Overeem did very little damage because Sakai did such a good job of keeping space. I mean, he was active with the up kicks. He was very good at keeping Overeem away from him. But Overeem started to mix up his strikes on the ground. He started to work body, then head. And we hear that body, head. That's one of the oldest calls in it from MMA Corner Team you'll hear. But Overeem was dropping his body weight with elbows, and that was really what was making the difference, because you start to then see Sakai start to drop his guard away from his head and start to cover his body, because that's really what's hurting him. You've got to think the knees, the punches earlier on in the fight, they've all started working that midsection. That's going to start to feel very tender right now. This was decent work from Sakai, but think of this as a conditioning exercise and how exhausting this is going to be for Sakai to keep constantly kicking Overeem off. Again, it's all water in the basement for Overeem. He's making him work. This is where the serious ground and pound starts. So he starts using the elbows to the midsection here. Bang, elbow midsection, and then hammer fists. But you can see Sakai's arms. If he was that worried about the headshots, he'd be here. But he's worried about the body shots. And then you've got the wrist control involved as well. I mean, Overeem's fantastic with wrist control, as we know, as we've talked about. Poor old Frank Mir found that out. But look, he's got wrist control here. He's got wrist control here. So Overeem's got top control on both sides now. It's Sakai that's hands are underneath Overeem. So anything that's coming, Overeem can release and then come down on top without any resistance. And Sakai's got to figure out whether he's attacking the body or the head, which is what gives Overeem the advantage. Let's go of that. What's he defending? I mean, Sakai just doesn't know where to go. He goes elbow first, bang, elbow, and then beautiful work to pass. Really, really nice timing. And you can see the exhaustion on Sakai here. As soon as someone starts to collapse their head back to the mat like that, you start thinking this fight's slipping away from them. Good work by Overeem, knee to the midsection. And Sakai, you can see the exhaustion here. He does a good job of defending for the most part in this round, but Overeem's now got his number. Okay, where are we? Fourth round. Let's get through. Now we've got damage on the face of Sakai as well, which I know it was a discussion about whether it was a clash of heads or not. It is possible. I did find a point in the clinch where it could have been a clash, but it could quite as easily have been that hammer fist as well. I mean, look at this. Oh, where are we? Good hammer fist this is. Straight down. And the way he was using his elbows as well, you could make an argument that elbow is attacking the midsection. And then as it gets closer, he fully extends the arm. Bang. Look at that. Lovely work. Really nice strike. I said it last week. If you're a good striker on the feet, you're a good striker on the ground because you're looking at the same targets. The same game of deception is there. You still feint in one way and then go in another way. Like those elbows to the body have clearly had an impact on Sakai because he's being reactive to them and he's not blocking shots to his face because of it. Okay, start the fourth round. Basically the last round for Sakai. Within this round is the point where Sakai breaks. Look how laboured he is though. Look how tired he is. Think back to the first round. Think back to how he was moving in the first round, light on his toes. He was not getting backed up like that. He was not getting rocked onto his heels. I mean, all of this work that Overeem's done has really paid dividends. And look, and Overeem's still cruising. There's no damage on his face. He's not really taken any low kicks after he cracked him with that right hand at the start of the first round. So like he's negated a lot of the things that would have taken it out of him. That's important. Sakai's reaction to this low kick is important because you can tell it hurts him. Nice calf kick here from Overeem. Bang, right into the calf. But then almost immediately Sakai comes moving forward. Just look how tired he is though. I mean, that's Saturday morning conditioning, isn't it? That's like the last round on the bag, Saturday morning conditioning, when you got nothing left. And you're like, come on, last 30 seconds. This is the walk over to the bag during the... Bang, with Jimmy Warled yelling in your ear. Like, and look how quickly he backs up. Look how quickly he backs up. I mean, it's so telling. Like, if you're over him in this position, you know you've won this fight. Couple of shots. Oh, do I really want to be here? Lazy knee to the midsection. I don't want to be here. It's too risky. It's too risky. And then Overeem's back in. And Overeem's still moving quite sharp. He's still feinting. He's still, there's still a liveliness in Overeem's movement, which we're just not seeing from Sakai anymore. Okay, 20 seconds time, there's a lovely body kick. That's what we'll get to next. I thoroughly enjoyed this performance. I just think Overeem's getting better and better. And I think one of the things we have to consider as well, he seems to be very matter-of-fact about where he is in his career. I mean, he's had 60-odd fights. He's not got a UFC belt on his mantelpiece. He's got every other belt. He wants a UFC belt. He knows this is his last run at a title shot. He's not bothered about delivering exciting performances. He's not bothered about getting early first-round stoppages. He literally has nothing else to prove. All he needs is to get his hands on that belt. So this Overeem, the less emotional, the more strategic Overeem, it just makes him incredibly dangerous. I thought he did great against Rosenstruck, like I said, until he got caught in that last 10, 15 seconds. You know, that was his fight. It's the same thing again, though. He slowly draws the fight out of his opponent. In the Rosenstruck fight, go back and watch it. Rosenstruck comes crashing forward and his enthusiasm drops off as the fight goes on. The fact that he was able to rally in the last 30 seconds was impressive. But Sakai just didn't have the energy for it. You know, Rosenstruck better conditioned. Sakai he just can't keep up with Overeem. And again, look how laboured this is. Overeem knows this is the last effort, and this is the one where Overeem gets cut, I think. It was a good elbow from Sakai, or maybe it's a bit later. Overeem does get cut. He does get caught from Sakai. Sakai is finding new ways through his guard, because that's one thing that Overeem wasn't accounting for, is that straight elbow. But this, from this point on, it's Overeem's fight. There's just nothing coming back from Sakai. This is the one that cuts him. Yeah, I think is he cut now? He's going to start bleeding in a second, I'm sure. Like Overeem, again, he's testing. Look how he stepped into range there. He's stepping in, he's showing him like he's going to do something. Feinting the right hand. Staying out of danger. Doesn't get hit with anything. Sakai's punches are so laboured and slow at this point. Right, Overeem's going to take him down in a second, isn't he? Yeah, let's get to that. Right, 1:45 on the clock. What's going on here? Oh, that's it. Kick to the groin. We'll skip past. Oh, I'm going backwards. I'm going the wrong way. Am I? No. Okay, here we go. Right. The reason I wanted to pull back to this takedown is because it's the same takedown he uses both times. There's a reason he uses this takedown. It's really nice. Okay. So he drives Sakai into the fence. He's got a hook around his body. So what you can't see is Overeem's... Oh, you can just about see it there. What you can't see is Overeem's right arm. Overeem's right arm is around the back of Sakai. He's got a hook on the leg of Sakai. So he's got something that is enabling him to keep Sakai on his shoulder. Like this contact here between the two is very important. And Overeem's driving him into the fence at the moment to maintain that contact. But what he also wants to do is when he moves away from the fence, he wants to keep that contact. So he wants to be able to pull Sakai into his shoulder. Now you can see Sakai's weight is entirely against the fence here. He's leaning into the fence as much as he can. Both his feet are up against the fence line here. So all of his weight is moving back in that direction. What Overeem does here is he blocks his foot. Look at this. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. You can see that. Overeem's got his foot in position there to keep that foot pinned against the fence. He's also able to keep this contact because he's got that wrap around Sakai. So as he pulls him, see how he drags Sakai towards him? I mean, it's a bit of an untidy takedown. I know DC had a couple of things to say about it. The fact is that it worked, and it worked a second time in the next round. The reason why it worked is not only is because he's keeping this contact, but because he drives into Sakai. He bounces him off the fence. Watch the bounce. Push. Push, pull. Push, pull. So he drives him into the fence to get a better grip, and then he pulls him on, blocking that foot. You can just about see it underneath him there. Pulls him over that foot and lands, and then scrambles, because he's the fresher fighter, scrambles to top position, and by this point, Sakai's got so much less energy than he did the last time he was taken down. Also, look where this arm is. He's not bothered about getting punched in the face. He just doesn't want to get punched in the midsection again, because he's had lots of work done to the midsection. And again, Reem now is on the floor, and he just dictates this fight from this position. I'm just going to skip through to the last 30 seconds, because that's the best bit of work that he does. And this is where Sakai really starts to struggle and break. Where are we? Okay. So you can see Overeem now is starting to stack him, but Sakai's not got the drive in his legs to keep Overeem away anymore. And Overeem's now starting to creep around the back of the legs. You see that last kick from Sakai? So we've got Sakai's left leg here. He's going to be kicking Overeem in that direction. But what Overeem does is, let me just switch colours so I can distinguish. Overeem's going to use this arm here to push this across. You're going to see it. Let me clear all this off. You're going to see this hand here. This hand's going to push that leg across when Sakai starts to extend it. And that allows Overeem just to creep around to the side. Look at the hand on the back of the calf. Sakai pushes, the energy goes straight past Overeem, and then he collapses down. And now all of his weight is just sitting on Sakai's quad and flattening it down. There's Sakai's leg. That's his foot just there, look. Sakai's now being forced to roll over onto his side because Overeem is ironing him out with his body weight. Beautiful work. And Sakai is in a cowering position, not meaning to insult him, but he's not in a great position. The only control he has here, look, he's got his legs crossed here. That's the only control he has, and it's not a great deal of control. I mean, it's not going to stop him getting hit. It's not going to stop Overeem holding that top position. It's mainly just stopping Overeem passing entirely to side control. But Overeem's not interested in that. He's interested in holding a position where he can strike, and that's what we see here. There's a two-punch combination. This is the breaking point. Watch this. Now he strikes back. I love the enthusiasm. When you strike him from the bottom, you're running out of ideas. So Overeem's going to throw a left hook in a minute. Watch how he's got control of this wrist here. He's going to let go of that. I'm just going to switch this colour because I prefer the green. I'll go away. There we go. Watch this wrist here. He's going to let go of this in a second. He's going to come around with the hook and hit him, and then he's going to come down with this hand. He's going to hit him twice. And that two-punch combination is the point where Sakai has just had enough. Watch his body posture change. Bang. There's one. Bang. Bang. Turned away. He turned away from the first one. That first one clearly hurt him. It was the follow-up of the second one. Bang, bang. That's it. Sakai's done now. I don't even think he really turns to face Overeem for the rest of the fight now. Like, he's in a defensive position, and Overeem's just going to keep raining down on him. And this is where you start to see the blood really coming out of Sakai. Look at that pin to the floor. Remember we talked about him pinning Frank Mir's arm above his head? This is his whole body weight going down onto that pin. He's controlling that wrist to the floor. He's also got his body weight on Sakai's back. So no matter what Sakai does now, he needs to move the whole of Overeem with him when he's moving. And as well as being pinned in these different positions, he's being pinned here and across his back here. And in this position here, this thigh is pinching close into his hip. As well as all these control points, he's also got to think about that right hand of Overeem constantly hitting him. Like, which thing do you deal with first? That's the question you've got to be asking yourself in this position. It's just, I mean, Sakai's doing everything he can to control, but he's constantly giving bad positions. And Overeem he's just allowed to rain down shots here. Look at Sakai defending his body again, defending his body and taking shots to the head. Where are we? We're almost. I mean, look at that. 32 strikes to 7. Like it was an avalanche at this point. Okay. Shots, more shots, more shots, more shots. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, Sakai's taking these elbows now. He's not really fighting back. He's doing just about enough to defend himself and stay in the fight. But you put another 60 seconds on this, he doesn't make it. He even goes back to his corner and has a chance to regroup as the cutman have a look at him. And we're seconds into the 5th round. I mean, that fight was pretty much over at the end of that round. Fair play to him coming back out for another try, but this was Anthony Smith Glover to Shearer. Like, he's got nothing left on the store. Bloody stop shoving water in these fighters' mouths when they're trying to get oxygen. Frustrates the hell out of me. It's a boxing thing. MMA fighters can hold a bottle. We have opposable thumbs with MMA gloves on. Holding bottles for fighters is a boxing thing. God has to stop it. It bugs the hell out of me. Okay, where are we? Am I going backwards again? Yeah, I am. Okay, right. You can see how quick that is over. So let's just quick have a look at the takedown, because it's the same takedown as he uses in the 4th round. If it ain't broke, break it. Okay. Oh, we've got the replays. Let's have a quick look at the replay. So we've got Sakai. That was the elbow that cut over him. Lovely elbow. Really nice technique. Straight down through the guard. Found a place that Overeem wasn't defending and managed to do some damage with it. It was really the only good shot he landed in the whole fight, though, let's be honest. Same thing again, look. So Overeem's arm is around the back of Sakai. It disappears around his back. And Overeem's foot is also in a position. And what he's going to do is he's going to circle around and he's going to pull Sakai down to the floor with his own body weight. So he's anchored him, and blocked him. And as it continues on, look at this, beautiful work. Lovely. You can see the control he's got on the back of his leg there as he's dragging him down. And then here's the elbows. So if we blast through to the start of the 5th round, you'll see the same takedown again. Pretty much identical. And look at the point where they start as well. Look where Overeem is when the timer pops up. Across the Monster Energy drink sign. Like, Sakai's barely out of his corner. It's even a lazy glove touch. It's like, oh, let's just get this over with. Like, he's walking away. He's not even engaging. He's exhausted, the poor guy. And look how quick Overeem closes distance. He's not even playing. Straight in. Straight up against the fence. Same hook around the back of the leg. Look. Steps across. See how he edges his foot in. I need to get rid of this little bar across the bottom. It's bugging me. He's going to trap that foot against the fence. He's going to hook there and he's going to pull him in this direction. Drag him to the floor. Blocks the foot. Drag. Scramble. And Sakai now, like, as he lands, he turns away. I mean, his hands are immediately up in a defensive posture. I mean, that's the guy that don't want to get hit again, right? And then Overeem, as brutal as he is, beautiful Muay Thai elbows, cracks him a few times here. Lovely shots. Lovely shots. But Sakai's done. I mean, he's doing nothing. And Overeem's trapping him from this side. You see how he's got a leg here, pinching. You can't see the other leg, but he's pinching from the opposite side. His hips are close to him. So he's pinning from all of these different angles, and then he's controlling his wrist. And he's controlling the top wrist as well. So even if Sakai decides he's going to roll over, that's the wrist that gets pinned to the floor just there. And then Overeem's on his back again. It's the same thing. It replicates the same game plan because it works and it puts him at so little risk. Bang, bang, bang. Fight's over. A great performance from Overeem. I want to see him fight John Jones, I'll be honest. Because I don't know what John Jones looks like at heavyweight. I don't know how he deals with the trickiness and the skills of Overeem. They both like to play a lot of games, a lot of range games, a lot of feinting. They both like to set a lot of traps. I think there are very few fighters in the heavyweight division that operate on that striking level that John Jones does. And I think Overeem is one of those guys that is going to be able to kind of understand that. Plus, we know they've trained together. I think that's a very interesting contest. Aside from that, for Overeem, I mean, he's not going to fight Curtis Blades because they're teammates now, I would assume. If Curtis Blades loses to Derek Lewis, Overeem Derek Lewis, but it's going to be the same kind of fight. And the risk against Derek Lewis is that he does land that one shot and knocks you out, like Rosenstrike. It wasn't necessarily a risk that he had against Sakai, which is probably why he was a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed in his approach to it. But you're going to be hard pressed to find a heavyweight that can beat Overeem, and beat him consistently technically. You can find heavyweights that are going to crack him and knock him out, do a lot of damage and get the fight stopped. But as far as a mixed martial arts operating system, especially in the heavyweight division, you're just not going to find someone that can compete with Overeem. He really is that good. I wouldn't mind seeing him get another shot at Stipe as well. I'd love to see him get another opportunity to get that belt on his mantelpiece and complete the set. If you think back to the Stipe fight, like, he had Stipe hurt. Like, he had Stipe badly hurt in that fight. It's Overeem being a risk taker. It's Overeem being an emotional fighter. That's the version that we got there. We don't have that version now. We have the Overeem that will do what he needs to do to win the fight, like, strategically and technically. And he also knows how he manages his energy in these fights and how he can also manipulate and influence the energy of his opponents so he can take theirs away whilst maintaining his own. So when it gets to the championship rounds, he shows what champions are made of. A great fight. Let us know if you like this War Room Aftermath. We'll do some more of them. Catch you next time.